In cities, we see property that's owned, that has a purpose. We see control, such as advertisements or corporate branding. And we see monitoring of the public, whether by CCTV or live facial recognition. If we're limited to what we can do and where we can go based on laws and authority, then how much are we really free? Some people choose to reclaim this when a system doesn't work for them, when it restricts them, or when they become fed up. Illegal freedom is a movement that's become increasingly popular and is the practice of personal freedom by rejecting the restrictions of modern society to experience freedom of movement on a planet that originally belonged to no one. Across cities lie buildings with forgotten history that are still under ownership and restricted. In spite of the decaying structures, some still choose to venture, to uncover what's shrouded in mystery. Urban exploration challenges the restriction on this freedom of movement along with providing a sense of serenity. Even if you don't realize, you're constantly being monitored in your day-to-day life, whether it's in the shops or even walking down a road. Urbex provides an escape from overly controlled environments and subverts from these expectations of everyday life. It also feeds into fundamentals of what makes us human through curiosity and adrenaline. You see, a primitive human instinct is curiosity, as it initially aided our ancestors with survival. As a result of evolution, we adapt our curiosity within the world we live in, and some choose to satiate this as means of exploring the unknown. Adrenaline is a hormone and neurotransmitter that increases heart rate, heightens senses, and provides a rush of energy when surged, which produces a natural high. It's our fight or flight response. Dopamine follows suit, a hormone responsible for pleasure, motivation, and focus. Adrenaline can be found when entering a secured location quickly, whilst navigating hazards and unstable structures, which provides uncertainty that lets adrenaline thrive as the brain perceives a possible threat. A 20th century philosopher called Henry Lefebvre wrote a book called The Right to the City, in which he argues in favor of people using cities in ways that meets their needs and desires instead of using these places in favor of capital accumulation. Luxury developments are placed instead of affordable housing, company headquarters instead of community spaces, forcing public spaces to be commercialized in order for these places to serve capitalistic accumulation. Lefebvre argues that capitalism forces our daily experience into repetitive work, consumer culture, advertising, and routines. However, our daily experiences should be shaped in the ways that the people who live in these spaces want to shape them, and to actively participate with these spaces to reclaim them as collectively created space. He thought that urban spaces were designed in order for capitalistic profit. Prime examples of this is in gentrified areas, which are designed in order to maximize profit rather than making an enjoyable space to those who are affected daily. Instead, he argues that urban space should facilitate the interaction of different people, fostering diversity and the confrontation of difference. We should enable the usage of spaces in ways of unexpected spontaneity rather than just being a functional habitat for work, as it denies allowance for lived human experience such as culture, imagination, and memories. The right to who gets to own the city should belong to everyone who lives, works, and inhabits urban space, instead of traditional nation-state citizens or property owners. This links to urbex, since people who participate in this actively participate with the city in unexpected, spontaneous ways that facilitate lived human experience through memories, social interaction, history preservation through photography or videography, and resists official use of space. Here is Coco, Cara, and Hayden talking about their experiences with urbex. What got you started with urban exploration?
Oh shit, okay, so growing up my dad did urbex and stuff, like he'd take me to like this abandoned fire station, and then I met people that do it from there, just started.
I walked past an abandoned building when I was a little kid with my friends, and then smashed into it, and then that was it.
What are the different types of urban exploration?
Abandoned places, I guess, like when there's railway tracks, I guess like crane climbing, tower climbing, train surfing.
What's your favourite one and why?
Climbing.
And why?
Because I love adrenaline.
I'd say train surfing. That's my adrenaline.
Why do you still go to these places?
You live once.
True, life's too short, you just gotta do it.
Why do you create content about these places? What do you want to gain or achieve from it?
Just to like document, you know? Because not everyone does this shit, you might as well record it now.
Because I want to share what I see with my eyes.
I preach.
What does illegal freedom mean to you?
Do anything you want, just have fun.
I'd say like just doing anything outside the system and like society's like standards.
Not
You know,
sticking
like
to the rules.
trespassing, all that shit. I don't know how to explain.
Do you think it's a form of rebellion against societies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
it's not sticking to the rules and the norm.
And that's kind of one of the whole points of it.
What's the biggest misconception people have about your actions?
I mean, they think you're like scummy, like they think you're this type of person, but really, like it don't change the person you are just doing this shit, like just for fun, innit?
Yeah, and also police always think you're like up to some fuckeries, like breaking shit, stealing shit, but the whole time you're just fucking taking photos and all that.
What's it like to enter a restricted area, and what are you thinking during it?
It gets your heart beating, you're thinking a lot, you're looking around everywhere, just exploring.
How do you manage the fear of being caught?
I don't have a fear.
Just don't think about it.
Exactly.
Do you think it's harmful to others?
No.
It depends how you're doing it. Because some people go in and they smash up everything, and then it changes. But if you're smashing it into it, it's different. But if you're going in there ruining it, it's worse.
What are your stances on the laws surrounding urbex and how the police treat it?
Police treat you like shit. Like, all the time. They always think you're like some mad criminal. They just over-exaggerate it.
It's not as bad as other countries though.
Yeah, to be fair, but I think some laws are just stupid.
Yeah, it's civil matter, so it's not as bad as
They're as
like,
aggravating as fucking
yeah, that's if you break in or anything.
No. Government and military sides.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the motto, take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprint?
Stand by it.
So all you need is your phone.
Why do you think it matters to document these places before they get demolished?
It's like history, you know? Like, not many people see these places because no one wants to enter like a restricted area, so
Yeah,
you might
the
as well
photo pieces.
take photos of everyone doing it.
Otherwise it's going to be forgotten about anyway, so...
Yeah.
Does it make you feel more alive than your daily life?
Oh, all the time. That's why I do it.
Feel bored about it, to be fair.
Exactly, that's nothing about it.
What's the most dangerous situation that an urban exploration has put you in?
I mean, hanging off with one hand on the jib, I guess, but like, that's not that
guess,
dangerous.
bro.
It's not that dangerous.
Shit, I mean, this one time there was a squatter who threw bricks at me. Cut my ankles up with glass, so I see that.
What motivates you to still explore even after experiencing this?
For the love of the game.
Yeah, love of the game.
What's been your favourite part about about urbex or the community?
The community's a bit toxic, I'll be real, but urbex in general, like, just see like adrenaline from it all.
You meet a lot of new people.
True.
What's the way that urbex has affected your daily life?
Well, I do it every day.
I don't feel stuck at home.
What got you started with urban exploring?
I think it was about like 2 years ago. I kept seeing people on TikTok go into like abandoned buildings, and I thought that's actually so cool. I really want to do that. But DK was like really pretty, and I just thought, why not? You only live once.
What are the different types of urban exploration?
There's like train surfing, rooftoping, there's freight hopping.
Why do you still go to these places?
I think if I didn't go to them still, then my life would be so boring. Because I remember about like a year ago now, I had a really bad injury in a rooftop, and I was bedbound for 2 months, and all I could think about was when I could explore next. So like I just didn't want to stop. And
Yeah, it's like a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle.
Why do you create content about these places? What do you gain or want to achieve from it?
I think just being able to document the history that people forget, because people walk past these buildings and they're like, they didn't take a second, like they didn't think about it twice. I don't like that, because it's just like there's so much history that's forgotten, that's you walk by every day, that affected people's lives so much, and I think that we should still remember it.
What does illegal freedom mean to you?
It means just being able to do like whatever you want to do, really, but like in a way that makes you happy and aligns to your values.
Do you think it's a form of rebellion against societies?
Yeah, I think 100%, because I mean this is illegal, but we're still here, we still do it.
What's the biggest misconception people have about your actions?
People just think that we do it and we're stupid, like we don't know what we're doing.
The other day, me and her got
Yeah.
arrested, and the person was just saying like, you're just stupid, what are you doing with your life? Like,
Yeah.
the whole time we're just chilling on the rooftop.
Exactly. We just want to see like the buildings in like a way that no one else can see them.
What is it like to enter a restricted area, and what are you thinking during it?
Just adrenaline, just especially if you hear the siren. PTSD. Yeah.
How do you manage the fear of being caught?
Just manifest.
I think after a while, like you get caught a few times, you realise, oh, it's not that bad. Like,
Yeah.
you'll get kicked out, maybe arrested, put in a cell, whatever. But
Like,
it's never that deep.
it's not that
Nothing's
deep.
ever that deep.
In the end, it doesn't really like contribute to much. So that's just how you get arrested. That's how you can't deal with the fear. You get
Everyone gets
arrested.
caught, it's part of it.
Yeah.
Do you think it's harmful to others?
No. How am I harming others? I'm just me personally. I'm just going into a building. I'm putting myself at harm more than putting other people at harm.
What's your view on the laws surrounding urbex and how the police treat it?
It's really unjust. Yesterday, well, no, the other day actually,
2 days ago?
2 days ago, Coco got like the police were using so much force against her, but like force that's illegal. Like mind you, the police they're not meant to like touch you if you're cooperating, which she was. They're not meant to touch you, but they were like forcing her down onto the ground. They pulled a taser out on her, and they were just being so
Oh
like.
yeah, and that was like straight away, hands were in the air.
Yeah.
Like, get on the fucking floor.
And they still push her down. It's really unjust. All we're doing is walking around taking pictures.
And I've been like slamming the cars, chased with cameras.
Yeah.
Like, it goes on.
How do you feel about the motto, take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints?
I think more people need to listen to it. More people on TikTok need to listen
Oh yeah,
to it.
especially people on TikTok.
Especially
They
people on
trash shit,
TikTok.
bro.
Half of your TikTok toys need to listen to it, because why are you going there like vandalizing, and not even in a good way, you're doing shit graffiti and you're ruining a sport that has toy. Just
toy.
Or why are you just breaking it? Like what? You just go to a rage room. At that point, just go to a rage room.
Why do you think it matters to document these places before they get demolished?
So people don't forget the history of the place they live in, because like I said, these places, they contributed so greatly to the day-to-day lives of many people. Like you take Archway Hospital, so many people had been like treated there in the past, or they were there in workhouses, and obviously like the workhouses, not a great thing, but it's something that we need to remember as a society to not.
Whitechapel.
Yeah, like it's something that we need to remember as a society to not let happen again.
Does it make you feel more alive than your daily life?
Definitely. In my daily life, I feel kind of just like dead, like a zombie bit. But when I'm doing urbex, it's like it's one of the only times that I feel like actually happy and like pleased with my life.
What's the most dangerous situation that urban exploration has put you in?
Ooh, down in Waterloo, yeah. I was in this rooftop, and I was meant to like land from the top of the roof down to like a pole onto a platform and then down to another roof, except I fell all the way down to the bottom roof, and I went like all my vision went black. My friends just heard a loud like thump. They didn't know, they didn't think I could breathe. That's how bad they didn't think I could breathe. I was unconscious. I regained consciousness. My whole body was in shock. I tore a ligament. I became bedbound for 2 months, and I was like this. I landed here. That was where the edge of the roof was.
Just remember, this one time I almost fell like 50 feet.
No.
Because I was like walking on some bridge thing and it like collapsed. on my feet and it was really tired.
What motivates you to still explore even after experiencing this?
Not exploring is what motivates me to still explore, because when I don't explore, I just miss it so much. Like I physically can't stop. I just miss it too much, and that's what motivates me. Just like being with my mates, seeing them all happy, and like just having fun with them in a way that you can't really get from just like walking around town or something.
What's been your favourite part about the Urbex or the community?
A bit of the Urbex community are pedos.
Oh, that's worse.
There is worse. It gets a bit dark, but sometimes you do find really nice people. Like, if I didn't do Urbex, I wouldn't know Coco, and Coco is my best friend now.
What's a way that Urbex has affected your daily life?
I think I don't see things like as normally as people would. Like if I'm walking down and I see like a rooftop or something that looks like it has a nice view, I just think about that.
You know what I just clocked? I've missed so much school and stuff to go Urbex. It's like
Same.
I feel like I need to go so bad.
Same, me too. I have done that as well.
It's like I don't want to sit behind a desk all day or like walk
Exactly.
behind a fucking screen. I can like be out on rooftops, like seeing cool chicks. There's so much to life, and then
Yeah, there's so much.
Desk.
Yeah, there's so much to life.
There's so much life.
There's so much more to life that doesn't involve like being in school or something like that. And I think
a 9 to 5.
yeah, and I think a lot of people do forget that, especially now in the society that we live in. I think we should not. I think that shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, because I feel like we're programmed to just
We are.
go to school, work, and
Yeah.
then retire and die. But like, there's so much more to life.
Exactly.
And to finish it off, what's your names?
I'm Cara.
I'm Coco.
Was trespass ever the point, or was it about finding an escape to a system which controls our lives? However, this control is so subtle that the majority of us don't even realize. Whether it's through hostile architecture, like having benches with armrests to prevent homeless people sleeping on them, or corporate branding to create subconscious feelings towards a company, where every surface is owned, regulated, and designed with specific intent. Graffiti creates a subversion by taking back visual space for the people. What you might consider scribbles or vandalism, another views as an art form providing freedom of expression without the typical restrictive monetary barriers of traditional art forms that prevent those of marginalized communities. It challenges the contradictory views of capitalist society on visual space. When it suits authorities, they allow paid advertisements as approved in order to condition us to think in a certain manner. But when it's not paid or approved, it becomes illegal. Michel Foucault, a 20th century philosopher who theorized that power doesn't only come from police or the government, but is everywhere in everyday spaces, rules, and norms. Foucault argues power is everywhere because it operates through everyday systems, knowledge, and social practices. Traditionally, we know power comes from governments enforcing laws, police repressing people, and kings commanding subjects. However, power can be much more subtle as it shapes knowledge, defines what's normal, creates social categories, organizes space, and produces identities. Examples of this is schools defining good students, prisons defining criminals, and psychiatry defining madness. This means that power doesn't only repress people, but it also creates ways of thinking and behaving. In his book, Discipline and Punish, he explains how societies control people through surveillance and discipline rather than pure violence, in which his central metaphor is a prison known as the panopticon, where prisoners could be watched at any time. This leads to prisoners policing themselves since they don't know if they're being observed or not. Sound familiar? That's because it's similar to how modern society works with CCTV and social media. People start to internalize surveillance, leading to cities becoming disciplinary spaces. A city governed by surveillance wants clean spaces, regulated expression, authorized messages, and predictable behavior, which graffiti interrupts. Foucault believed that societies create discourses, a system of language and truth, which is seen in the way that governments define legality, media defines respectability, and urban planners define order. Graffiti creates a counter-discourse to this by inserting unofficial voices into controlled space. Institutions create categories such as criminal and insane, which writers are framed as by the media and government for putting paint on walls. But how is it any different to a luxury brand putting up a billboard covering a building, or commercial street art? It's because power defines legitimacy. Foucault believed that cities are systems of control, since institutions organize visibility, movement, behavior, and access through zoning, policing, anti-homeless architecture, and gated spaces, which is disrupted through graffiti as is unauthorized, visually disruptive, and resists regulated movement. Was vandalism ever the point? Or is it to protest against financial constraints, the full expression of oneself, and reclaiming space to those who aren't favored by the capitalist society we live in? An underground scene came from these same financial constraints and not being able to express themselves. During Margaret Thatcher's Britain, between 1979 and 1990, the person responsible for deindustrializing Britain. This meant that young people couldn't find work in the factories, mines, and other traditional jobs. This hit hard, especially in the north of England. She also put an emphasis on personal responsibility rather than collective support, which was what most people in Britain grew up with after World War II, and this culminated into feelings of isolation and disconnect. Due to young people not being able to afford nightclubs or refuse entry for not wearing acceptable attire, they made their own free parties. People held parties for the people and freed themselves from the commercial constraints that nightclubs bared. Raves were usually free or cheap entry since the people holding them paid for the parties out of their own pocket, and they were held in unused warehouses or land, which wasn't hard to find considering the deindustrialization. Everyone was accepted for who they were regardless of class or background, which created unity. In 1994, the authorities tried to end them by introducing the Criminal Justice and Public Order Act, which allowed police more power to control protests, trespassing, and illegal raves, stating,
"Amplify music. Hold it down. Wait, fuck off."
However, this didn't stop the scene, it only forced it further underground. Along with free parties are squat raves. Squatting became common in cities like London, since housing became unaffordable, but people didn't want to suffer through the abuse and harsh conditions on the streets. Therefore, they used abandoned spaces for homes, since if no one else was going to use it, they might as well. Squats were perfect for raves since they didn't need to pay for a venue, and they didn't need to listen to venue closing times, as the people that held these parties lived in the squats themselves. It didn't take long for squats to become targeted like free parties because of the Criminal Justice and Public Order Act, which meant more evictions and crackdowns on gatherings. This meant that people lived in temporary squats, only being used for one-off raves to avoid eviction. Here's Michael talking about his experiences going to raves.
What's your name?
Michael.
Nice to meet you. I'm Mary Jane.
Nice to meet you, Mary Jane.
Nice to meet you. So when you're at a rave, do you feel free in a way that you don't normally feel in day-to-day life?
I mean, 100%. Like, there's a different level of freedom that you feel like at these kind of things, man. Like the first free party I ever went to was like the South Downs. It was just when COVID had ended, right? So like everyone was gagging to party, like lockdown had ended. That was sort of what got me into it. The first one was just like nuts because I just felt like that raw energy of the scene, of people of like the common people of this country, do you know what I mean? And like coming together to like party, be as one in unity, and yeah, be together and fucking mosh and have a fucking party, big fucking party.
Due to the fact that they're illegal, do you think that creates a different atmosphere than legal raves?
100%. I mean, that adds to the mysteriousness. Yeah, when you find out, it all makes these crazy kind of serendipitous synchronicities happen, right? Like, you meet people you wouldn't have met, or like you end up chilling or having like a little crew at one party with people that you might have parked up next to. So like, there's all these connections that get made in different ways. Like, I believe like the divine, right? Like God, whatever you might call it, universe. I believe that she works in mysterious ways, especially in free parties, because there's so much freedom and raw like life is happening like at its most intense in these party places. So I've had moments where I've been like, fuck, like it all makes sense, do you know what I mean? It's just like that epiphany moment. But
Exactly what you mean. Do you feel that the secrecy of raves make them more meaningful?
Yeah, I mean 100%. I guess underground, yeah, I mean it's all underground, isn't it? At the end of the day, like when you start trying to make money from something, I think it removes the, I mean then it's for something else, isn't it? Then it's for money, right? So it's like, it removes the purity of it. It taints it with the capitalist mindset.
Do you feel like everyday life is controlled in ways people don't notice?
I think there's so many powers at play in the world today. The media are feeding us bullshit. They want us to believe certain things. You know what you know. Like we all only know our own experiences, right? And I think it's super important to go outside of your comfort zone. And generally, free parties are a pretty great space to do that. Generally safe. Obviously there's certain risks involved, but my opinion is that it's worth the risk, you know what I mean? For what you can benefit from it, and like you meet so many good people. Like I'm 27 now. I started squat raving when I was 17. Then I've studied down in Devon, in Plymouth, got into the outdoor free party scene, and from that I've got, mate, anytime I go to any event, free party, like there will be someone I know. So it's like, it's a community, the scene. You know, you've always got people there.
Why did you first go to your first legal rave?
The reason why, I mean, I was a bit rebellious, to be honest. As a teenager, I was rebellious. Like my parents were like, didn't want me obviously doing drugs and shit, and I was like, well, what's this all about? I got into drum and bass, got into like other genres. Later on, got into like hardcore, hard tech, and like that opened my eyes massively to a whole new world. Like I started DJing. That's like a whole nother passion of mine.
How do you think raves are different from going to legal clubs?
Illegal raves, just it just has that spirit, the free party spirit, man. It's there, it's alive, you know.
What is the rave scene like, and how would you describe it to someone who's never been to one?
If you're up for an adventure, if you're up for a night, you'll never fucking forget. So get in touch with yourself, in touch with nature as well. I prefer free parties, outdoor stuff than squat raves, because you get these beautiful sunrises and all this sort of thing.
Exactly.
So
it makes it so much worth it. Are there any unspoken rules at rave?
It's respect, it's love, it's unity, plur, you guys know already. It's like karma, isn't it? Like if you find someone's a jacket on the floor or something, and you hand it into the cruise, or blah blah, essentially if you do good will come back to you, especially in the party scene. So like Laugh North Tech, I didn't have a car, so we went with public transport in middle of butt nowhere, North Wales. There's a lovely older lady, I let her sleep in my tent. She was exhausted. I was like, right, it's all good, sleep in my tent, I'm out, no worries. Turns out she was the only person left on the site, and she drove us an hour to the nearest town, or else we would have been stranded.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, little things like that.
It's a moment at a rave that stuck with you.
Obviously drugs, like.
If legal rave stopped, what would be lost?
It won't ever stop.
It won't ever stop.
It won't ever stop, full stop.
What do you want people that don't go to raves to
people are very friendly, very warm.
What's been demonized in the media as dangerous drug-fueled parties were truly just an escape from the constraints of our everyday lives, constraints from finances, and a need for unity rather than isolation. Trespass, vandalism, and drug-fueled parties is what the media might depict them as in order to condition you into thinking about them in that way. But maybe they were trying to find an escape to the reality that they had to face. Because when spaces become owned, identity is controlled, and freedom becomes restricted, people look for it elsewhere.